What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Track Haul Quest. We are back out here in my temporary garage where I have Puck and Dusty behind you. So in this video we're going to be getting into replacing that front crankshaft seal as well as the oil pump gasket. Got to get into that. We're going to replace a couple idler pulleys as well as installing fresh belts. And I keep kicking myself in the arse because I did replace a harmonic balancer a couple years ago. So I should have did this 2 years ago, you know. And yeah, so got to do it now. But yeah, as you can see here, this is Puck. It's a 1972 FJ40 Land Cruiser. And he's been kind of idle this summer because we've been out and about, you know. So I did remove the front clip, and all the hardware was completely rusted out. But we're gonna get hot and heavy on Puck this winter. So we're gonna focus on this. Try to get him going, you know, at least get him to where he's drivable. Somewhat reliable, right? So anyways, gotta get into it. Alright, let's go. I decided not to pull the radiator just because it's a whole lot of work. In order to pull the radiator, I got to pull out both batteries, both battery trays, the radiator reservoir, all that has to come out, which is a whole lot of extra work. And I'm going to try to attempt this without doing that. I did purchase this tool here, which is a special tool for this particular harmonic balancer for this motor. It's got FZ stamped on tool here. So there's a couple bolt provisions on the harmonic balancer, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to screw these on so those holes on the harmonic balancer are threaded. So you will bolt this tool on there and then insert a 1/2 inch breaker bar to this square hole here, and after that you just lock the breaker bar to the frame rail, and that prevents the rotating assembly to turn on you while you're trying to loosen up that bolt. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Hopefully it won't be too tough. All right, let's get into it, guys.
Round 1, fight!
That's a Harbor Freight breaker bar. Let's see that one. Break it last. We're gonna put this in front of the radiator. Oh, bust that radiator.
Round 2, fight!
That bolt, that crankshaft bolt, has about over 300 foot-pounds of torque, so it's an animal. It's on there good. I ended up snapping my 18-inch long Craftsman breaker bar. It's a shame because I've had this breaker bar for many years. It's sad to see it go. It's got to go. And this piece of crap, I mean, for small jobs I guess it's okay, but this 24-inch Harbor Freight breaker bar didn't do much. I mean, it's great for like torquing down lug nuts out in the field, but yeah, piece of crap for sure. So I decided to go ahead and we're gonna bring the big arsenal out. Big Papa is what I call it. We ain't messing around no more. So we got a Big Papa in the house. This thing's a 40-inch freaking breaker bar, 3/4 inch, and we got a nice heavy-duty chromo 30mm freaking socket on there. So this thing is super beef. It's made by Titan, and yeah, we're gonna get after it. We're gonna break that damn freaking bolt loose.
Final round, fight!
Oh, I got it. Oh. Wow. I think we got it. I think we got it.
Yeah!
So I wanted to show you the bolt that I just pulled off. So this is that 30mm bolt, and this is what bolts into your crankshaft at the front of the motor, and this is what holds the harmonic balancer onto the crankshaft assembly. This bolt is nothing to be reckoned with. I mean, it's massive, 30mm, and that lets you, just by looking at this bolt, lets you know that this motor, the 1FZ FE Inline 6 4.5 liter, designed by Toyota, is no joke. This is a true tractor motor, well designed. I mean, just look at this. They don't make engines like this anymore, unless you get into the, you know, the 3/4 ton, 1 ton American diesel trucks. Then you'll find hardware like this, but this is just a petrol engine, and it's pretty impressive, I gotta say. Kind of cleaned off, so we blew it off with some compressed air. I hit all the front end of the motor, hit the area around the harmonic balancer, and especially on top of the cover for the oil pump. So we kind of blew all that stuff off. I also went ahead and blew out the radiator, condenser, and my transmission cooler. So there's a lot of grass seed stuck in these veins, or whatever you want to call it. So they're all wedged in there, especially from that last trip I did to the Carrizo Plain. There's a lot of seed stuck in this condenser and radiator. It's a good idea to once in a while blow out your condenser, radiator, and your transmission cooler with compressed air. I mean, I have a pile of seed about that big on the ground. Anyways, guys, so yeah, we're gonna pull that harmonic bouncer out. I gotta be really careful when I slide that thing out because there is a little key. It's called a Woodruff key. It's a little half moon shaped key that sits in a groove on the crankshaft assembly, and the other half of that key slides into the harmonic bouncer, and that's what locks it into place as it rotates. All right, guys, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to install the new seal back on the timing cover for the motor here on Dusty. And I bought this kit from Absolute Wits End about 6 months ago. So I've just been sitting on this whole process for a bit. Finally getting around to it. This kit includes everything you need for a front oil pump cover, O-ring replacement. He also supplies you with the hardware. We're going to be replacing the Phillips hardware with this Allen key type hardware. And he also supplies you with the front crankshaft seal for your timing cover. And he went enough as far as supplying you with this PVC 2-inch cap. And I'm assuming that this cap helps you drive in the seal into the timing cover, which is, I think it's pretty well thought out. So thanks, Joey. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So I am going to also apply a little bit of sealant around the outer portion of the seal with Toyota FIPG orange seal. And that just extra reassurance. That this seal won't leak. Yep, so it sits on there just like this. So if you look at the seal, there is a spring that sits around right behind the lip. So you got to make sure that spring goes towards the crankshaft. And then you have this surface out here with another lip, and that portion sits towards the radiator. So this 2-inch PVC cap slides right over that there and helps you drive that sucker home. You don't need much, just nice thin film should be enough. We're going to apply some dielectric grease because I don't want that spring popping off. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it in 4 spots, and then we're going to coat the inside of the seal with some more dielectric grease. Alright guys, and that's the way it should look, more or less like that. So we're going to go ahead and drive this into the truck. Take it from there, guys. Let's go. And we're going to use a number 3 bit on there with a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch socket. And we're going to try to tap that bit into that bolt. Try to get that as far as you can, because I don't want to strip those bolts. From what I hear, they're a pain in the ass to get out. And then we're going to use this ratchet to go ahead and break those loose. That's the plan. Let's go. Let's get after it. It's on there. Last one. Oh, this one fought me for a bit. Just a nudge. You're gonna have a spillage here, so you gotta make sure you have a catch can down below. There's our cover. All right, guys, so we got the oil pump cover cleaned up, got all the gunk and grease off of it. Took a bit, but we cleaned it up really well. Cleans up very well. And we're going to go ahead and install the new seal or O-ring back in the truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use dielectric grease. I like using dielectric grease. You know, you could probably use any other type of grease, but this is just, it seems to be clean, and this is what I prefer. So we're going to apply some of this in the groove where the O-ring sits, and that'll help to retain the O-ring in place while we put the cover back in its location. So let's go. Okay guys, so we got our massive torque wrench. So it's a 3/4 inch drive torque wrench. And it's a Nyko Pro. This one's rated up to 700 foot-pounds of torque. But I have it set at 304 foot-pounds of torque, which is what the factory service manual calls for. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the bolt. Okay, here we go. 300 foot-pounds. Got it. Alright. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. And I'm going to continue working on the truck as much as I can. But I am waiting on parts, like always. So I decided to go back to the Toyota OEM clamps for the larger radiator hoses. I have been using these, which I'll show you. So these are a worm type of gear hose clamp, and then you got these washers here that provide constant clamping force. But I don't know, something's telling me, you know, you got to listen to your gut. So my gut tells me just to go back to factory, because you can't be factory, right? So you got to understand that, you know, everything expands and contracts, and those factory clamps will allow for expansion and contraction while still applying plenty of clamping force over the hose. And that's where I'm at. So we're going to do that. We're going to replace the broken fan shroud as well, waiting on those parts. But I did want to bring up, if you guys are doing any type of work to your own vehicle, stay away from this type of manual. You know, you can find these at your local auto parts store. You know, I won't mention the names, but there it is. They're okay, but they lack a lot of information. I would save your money and invest. It's an investment. Obviously, this truck is an investment, right? So might as well invest in the original Toyota factory service manual. So this one here has all the categories, subcategories you're going to need to get all types of information. So highly recommend it if you're going to be doing work yourself, or it's good reading material. One other thing, the bolts for the oil pump cover, I was not able to find any torque specs to those bolts. So I tighten those by feel. Make sure you don't get carried away over torquing those bolts, because they will break. So just snug them up rather tight, and we're going to go off of that. So we'll keep an eye on that cover to make sure we ain't got no leaks in the future. So anyways guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode, and we're going to keep going. So thank you.